Good morning. Tens of thousands of homes and businesses in Quebec remain in the dark this morning, starting a second day blacked out by an early spring ice storm. And let's begin with Michael Serapio, who's tracking all the details for us in these early morning hours. Details and numbers. What's the latest, Michael?
Well, the latest numbers we have is just over 111,000, Heather. And we need to point out that we are waiting now for another update from Hydro-Quebec. We're expecting that in the next hour. But this is the latest number that we're getting from officials in the province. Tens of thousands, as you said, forced to spend another night without power. The latest number standing at just over 111,000 customers. That is fluctuating a couple of hundred here and there throughout the night. But this is a very big improvement over yesterday when at the height of this crisis we were talking about 313,000 without power. Still many people are affected and there continues to be concern. Warming centers have been open, the hardest hit areas being north of Montreal, the regions of Lanaudière, Basse-Laurentide, Laval, and to a lesser extent the Outaouais, which is just across the river from Ottawa. Now, the ice storm that hit the province on Monday causing tree limbs to freeze and break, and as they fell, they took down power lines with them. And because we're talking about hundreds of breaks instead of just one source being at issue, the work has been slow. Still, it has been steady. Hundreds of workers deployed yesterday, dozens working through the overnight hours. And officials at this point are advising people to check on anyone they know who may be vulnerable or isolated. Take a listen to the Quebec Premier.
I'm requesting all people having young children and elders to call their municipality to find a place to stay in the meantime.
And those municipalities, a place to stay, as we heard, have opened up warming centers and shelters. This is where dozens of people stayed overnight seeking out warmth, food, a hot shower. Take a listen to some affected residents who took advantage of the refuge.
The temperature shut down to like 10 degrees in the house, so it's cold, and that's why we are here.
We're looking for some heat, and mostly we're looking to eat sometimes, some stuff, and mostly keep ourselves warm because at home it's kind of boring right now without electricity.
So a couple of centers open and dozens of people in each of those centers, as you heard from both that man and that woman, getting some warmth, getting some food, some solidarity and all of this. But it's interesting, some people have opted to stay home despite the conditions, despite the cold, and that has led officials to have to make a different kind of safety warning.
Absolutely, because we've seen this before, and sadly emergency crews have had to respond once again to people staying at home, where there have been a number of issues, among them candles that have been left unattended near flammable material, people being affected by carbon monoxide poisoning. And as a result, this is what you're seeing on the ground in southern Quebec. Crews going door to door in many neighborhoods, making sure that people are not putting themselves in danger. For example, bringing in gas generators, which should be outdoors, but bringing them indoors, leaving candles, again, near flammable material. Even in some cases, interesting, Heather, that they're leaving the generators outside their houses, but too close to the house, so the carbon monoxide is still making their way in. And take a listen to what we heard from Laval police.
One situation where the family tried to heat the house with the barbecue. So return to the security rules, everyone. Do not use any equipment that is not made for indoor use. Police officers are assigned with every other employee of the city to patrol the streets and to be on the lookout for people using generators, for different people asking for help.
Now, the good news here is that the people she was talking about, they are now recovering in hospital. No one died. But here's some tips that we get from Public Safety Canada. So really applicable in any situation across the country, not just what's happening in Quebec right now. For example, never use outdoor equipment indoors, barbecues, camping, heating equipment, home generators, use your proper candles. Make sure you have a proper working carbon monoxide detector. And that's actually a tip that's being shared right now for people. Test both your fire detector as well as your carbon monoxide detector at this point. As Francois Legault said in a tweet, the Quebec Premier, he says, take no risks and be careful. And again, we're now waiting for that update from Quebec officials. That should happen at around 7:15 a.m. Eastern. So we'll be updating the story throughout the
latest
morning.
Numbers, but over 111,000 as we
Exactly.
start this day. Customers in Quebec without power today. Michael, thank you for leading
welcome.
things off there.